You're listening to the Voice of Your Brand podcast. In today's episode, we are revealing whether or not you are your industry's best kept secret. That's coming up next.
Ready to go behind the scenes and learn what it really takes to stand out as the voice of your brand? I'm Catherine Beck, voice actor and voice coach. And after 20 years of being the voice of other brands, I'm here to show you how your voice is your most powerful tool to creating the impact, influence, and income you desire. The world is your global stage, so get ready to up-level your voice and your personal brand. This is the Voice of Your Brand podcast.
Before we jump into today's episode, I want to let you know that I am hosting a free training this week. It is happening this week, and it is on the 6-second sell. I'm going to show you how you can go from unheard to known as an authority in just 6 seconds. You heard me, just 6 seconds. So to register for this amazing training, head over to catherinebeck.com/masterclass. And I so look forward to seeing you there. There's going to be plenty of time at the end for a little Q&A and even some volunteering if you want to get up on the stage, the Zoom stage with me, and get some feedback on your voice and whether or not you are sounding like an authority. Join me, catherinebeck.com/masterclass. I look forward to seeing you there. All right. Now, today we're going to jump into whether or not you are your industry's best kept secret. So if you're anything like me, I certainly have felt like my industry's best kept secret. You might have a skill, you might have mastered that skill, or maybe you consider yourself an expert. You know, you're highly skilled, you've got a lot of knowledge in what you do, but you struggle to get seen and heard. And let's face it, if you're a personal brand, and P.S. you are, because if you have any sort of service or product or program, then you are a personal brand. And as a personal brand, you are literally the face and the voice of your brand. And that's where I see a lot of experts struggle, because when you decided to become good at something, you did not know that in today's world, it meant you were signing up to put your face on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and Facebook ads and all the things. All of a sudden, you're not just an expert, you're also a model, an actor, a podcaster, a voiceover talent, an improviser, a TV host, and a public speaker. No wonder so many of us are so exhausted all the time. We're wearing so many hats. You're all these things because when you signed up to be an entrepreneur or a business owner in today's world, that means that you also signed up to be the face and the voice of your brand. But the problem is that most of us are not equipped with all those skills that I just mentioned. So it might feel a little awkward or maybe nerve-wracking to show up on video or film a reel or a TikTok or a YouTube video. You may not like the sound of your voice. So how can you possibly start a podcast or possibly get on a stage or possibly guest on other podcasts? The idea of speaking on stage live or in a Zoom room, an Instagram live, what have you, whether it's to a small group or a big group of people that you don't know, it terrifies you. But all the cool kids are doing it, all the influencers, and you just wish you had the courage to get on that stage too. And I get it. The fear of public speaking is very real. It may be just sort of like a subtle whisper within you, or it may be screaming from the rooftops inside. And it might be more prevalent. I actually found an interesting study that I wanted to share with you to give you some insight on how any sort of fear of speaking on video or podcast or any type of stage could actually be impacting your revenue, your sales, your bank account. So if you found that your sales maybe have plateaued or are suffering, you're finding it hard to scale your sales, it might be time to identify and face those fears. And did you know that Zoom anxiety is actually a thing? virtual meetings have actually been known to cause excessive worry and nervousness. And let's be honest, it's downright awkward. I mean, half the people might have their cameras off. They're there, but you can't see their face. Could you imagine speaking to a room live, 50 people in the room, and half of them, you couldn't see their faces? That'd be a little bit awkward, wouldn't it? It's kind of strange when you think about it. They're in the room, but there's no eye contact. You can't even see their face. So I found a study in the United States where public speaking, the fear of public speaking, has a 10% impairment on wages and a 15% impairment on promotion to management. So, how does that equate to personal brands? Well, that fear may be holding you back from speaking up on different platforms where you might be able to monetize what you do. It might be impeding your selling in a webinar, in a discovery call, in a sales call, in some sort of live launch. It might be holding you back from selling more because people can sense nerves. They can sense when something's off, and it could potentially deter people from buying. Because if they don't perceive you as confident, well, that means they don't perceive you as an authority. And then they may not buy, or it might take them 3 or 4 launches before they buy. But you are an authority and you're so good at what you do. Well, so what? Because here's the thing. People will buy from an A-list marketer with a C-list product any day over a C-list marketer with an A-list product. So if you're an expert who is sensing that you are so good at what you do, but maybe you're not a great marketer or you're holding back from using your voice in marketing, it might be showing up in your delivery. You may be holding back from showing up and speaking up. And therefore, you very well may be your industry's best kept secret. Now, here is where things get tricky for the industry's best kept secret, because if you find yourself holding back or you feel like your voice isn't working for you, it's kind of like it's working against you, you might start to rely more on visual content or scripts to help you out. So the visual content is literally doing the talking for you, and the scripts is because you feel like you need to rely on that to make sure you get everything out. But the problem with that is that in order to become known as an authority, we need to hear your voice, but we also need to hear authenticity. And most people, when they're relying on a script, they start to lose that authenticity because it literally sounds like they're reading on a page. So think about this. Like when it comes to visual content, if you're not actually using your voice, think about it this way. Could you imagine Gary Vee being as successful as he is today if all he posted was visual images? He never spoke. I mean, it's almost laughable when you think about it because he's so well known. Like, you can think of Gary Vee so easily by his videos where he's talking on stages and he's talking to people and he's sharing his thoughts. He's got very strong thoughts. I could not imagine Gary Vee being who Gary Vee is today if he wasn't on video. And really, any of our top thought leaders, for that matter, their secret weapon really is their voice. Now, let's talk about selling and being the industry's best kept secret. When it comes to selling, here are some mistakes you will definitely want to avoid if you're starting to get the sense that you're holding back. One is thinking that your messaging is the reason why you didn't get more sales. So this is what I see happens a lot with the industry's best kept secret. You have a launch. It didn't go as well as you would have hoped. You didn't get as many sales that you wanted, or the sales didn't increase, like they're pretty much the same as they were in your last launch. So you decide before the next time you launch, you're going to tweak, you're going to rework your messaging. You're going to make sure that it's better for the next launch. Well, that's all fine and good, as is having an outstanding, irresistible offer, but that's not your problem. Your problem isn't what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. And that's where people are completely missing it. They keep going to the logic. What can I change? How can I reword this? But not how can I say this? How can I connect to my audience in a way that really speaks to them. There's no connection there. And that might be coming from you. You also might be rushing the sale because maybe you think that people might leave before they hear the pitch. You're thinking about that drop off and not everyone stays till the end. So you're rushing through and you think that that's going to solve your problem. That's going to help you get more sales, is just get everything out as quickly as possible. But that actually makes matters worse because when you rush, the listener has difficulty keeping up. And when they have difficulty keeping up, they don't listen to what you're saying. They actually might have difficulty literally hearing what you're saying. So 2 things happen. Either they zone out, so they stay on till the end, but they've totally zoned out. They're not connected. They're not feeling what you're talking about. Or they literally turn you off. They disconnect. They move on to something else. They have disconnected. Therefore, they did not buy. And that really is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many more mistakes that could potentially happen, and it's all so fixable. And it's all very simple too. So, how do you stop being the industry's best kept secret? You just do. You slow down. You start facing those fears. And every day that you get out there, you do one small step into discomfort, and that's one step closer to that last step turning into something that now feels easy and becomes a new habit, a habit of ease. But it starts with these small shifts, and it's possible. But sometimes we just need the steps, the roadmap, right? The what to do, how to get through this. Sometimes we need the support. Sometimes we need the accountability all along the way. So if you're getting a sense that, you know what, that is me, and I am so ready to stop being the industry's best kept secret. I am ready to become known as the authority in my niche. Then join me for my free masterclass. It's happening this week in just a couple of days. You can head over to katherinebeck.com/masterclass to register. And I look forward to being your fearless leader in the masterclass as we get you to sound like the expert that you already are. And if you already know that you are ready to start using your voice in a more effective way to sell with ease and become the leading authority in your niche, then just jump on my waitlist and get access to me and my program right away. You can head over to katherinebeck.com/LYV-waitlist. I'll pop that in the show notes for you as well. And that is it for today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you back here next time on the Voice of Your Brand podcast.